Good morning, everyone. I know it's been a little while since I uploaded. Sorry, I don't know, I just haven't really been up for YouTube lately, but I have ideas for stuff that I want to do. It's just, I don't really like the software that I'm using right now, so I'm kind of trying to switch and learn things, but I don't have a lot of time. But I will get more regular at some point. I'm not going to make any promises as to when. Anyways, today we are going to go ahead and do a little bit of a replay, just kind of go over some things. I'm using a Yugoslav general deck, but that's not really what this replay is about. So the chat here, Captain Price marks up, he says cap, and he's putting a cap sure there. I asked people to mark up, and then I asked him which one he wants, and he says HR. I am so confused as to what HR means, and here in a little bit it'll strike me as to what it means. Bambi is a relatively new player. He actually holds his own pretty well over here in golf. We'll highlight that here in a second. Let's speed up just a tiny bit. This is when I start realizing what HR means. Helo rush. And I went, oh crap. So he's going to refuse to take either Echo or Delta, and he just wants a straight up Helo rush. He is Helo rushing with like a handful of super expensive helicopters and not a whole lot else. So I kind of know that the game is lost if he just goes off and his helicopters die. I mean, the game will just be over. So I go ahead and spawn in some cheap helicopters. I say, hey, keep my helos in front. They're not as good. He says, okay, get infantry. Well, I don't have any heliborne infantry in this deck. With Yugoslavia, they don't have very good transports, and I don't find it as useful. Because Yugoslavia just tends to be kind of a grindy, ground pounding deck. You get really good infantry transports, get really good tanks. It's very ground focused in my opinion. Its planes are pretty solid overall. But anyway, so I spawn in a whole bunch of these Gammas and Heras to kind of screen for their helicopters. And Bambi is just going straight over here. I also do spawn in some infantry and a couple of AA/recon units to kind of follow up on this attack. Our friend Captain Price here doesn't spawn anything for a follow-up, and that will be a trend that will continue throughout this video. He will just refuse to do anything to help on the ground. So I have my CV behind. Anyways, he said he was going to cap here. He lied. He's going to bring it all the way over to Bravo, which is fine. He immediately loses the 52, which is a little bit of a problem. And his 52 and his 28 really are going to wind up being fairly inconsequential. His 52 will not go after the auto. I think I do actually kill it with a Gamma, though, which was pretty fortunate. And his F-104, or I'm sorry, Catbeard's F-104 unfortunately goes down, but his 104s do a lot of work. So we've landed, we've neutralized the zone. They never spawn anything in. I have kind of a screen over here just in case they try and spawn things in, which they do. I don't think that cheat actually spawns over here, though. Anyways, he has stuff in the open here, and he has just bought bombers, and he's going to try and bomb them to death, which is just the most okay, it did spawn in, and I actually killed it, which is just so scummy. Like, this tactic, it's just annoying, honestly. Like, it pisses people off. I kind of get on this map why some people like to do it. This does pretty much guarantee a win, but not always. And I really think that this game could have been brought back from the other side, because that's all Captain Price had up his sleeve was a bum rush with helicopters. So all he had was a Helo rush and nothing more. I have some units to follow up, but not a whole lot. And the only thing that he's going to buy is bombers. And I thought we had captured Foxtrot, so I was like, okay, I'll bring in a tank. No, we don't have Foxtrot at all. Bambi over here is getting rushed pretty hard. He's already lost some of his tanks. He's just getting outdone by this Leo 2 A4. His infantry, overall, he'll actually hold this pretty well. I'm getting into this building, trying to find their command infantry. Again, just in case I'm leaving these helicopters over. And right about here, command infantry starts to... Oh, no, it doesn't. I think I have to jump one more building before I find it. There we go. Command infantry opens up. that is a good reason to leave your command infantry off. So anyways, we have Bravo now for just a minute. And I think, yeah, I start spawning in stuff immediately, trying to take advantage of the fact that we actually have the zone. Captain Price? Nothing. He's bought another bomber, which will not do a whole lot. I should have bought infantry instead of the VHOR, honestly. But I thought I could, I thought there would be more infantry from him coming in or something, but... Oh, he does actually buy some VDV-90. I forgot about that. Anyways, Bambi's pretty new. I don't think he really realizes that doing gun runs with his JH7 is not the best use of it. And Price's IL-102s are just not getting this command unit, which is leaving the whole zone open. And here, his command unit got spotted because he refused to put it in the forest that it was sitting right next to. Over here, Bambi, again, he's doing a pretty valiant job. I think he just got outplayed. These tanks never really did anything to help his units. He actually forgot to spawn units. I think here in a second he spawns a whole bunch to start reinforcing, but it doesn't matter. Blue already has stuff on the way. So I have some infantry coming over. I have these units that, with the longbow around, can't really come across right now. And here comes another IL-102 run, and I think this one does actually get the command unit. So now we actually have the zone, but I don't think we're going to hold it for very long. I'll go ahead and call in another group of infantry and some more AA, because this longbow is something that I really am not happy to see around. So, bam. And this Neva or Sava doesn't get it. It's this one over here. The longbow misses both of its hellfires, much to its disappointment, and that causes Salt to go ahead and throw in the towel. So that's kind of what Helo rushes do for teams, is it just kind of demoralize your opponent. It's really not that fun for them, and they leave. And honestly, playing in a Helo rush, I don't think it's very fun either, because it's just cheesy. That's it. I mean, the first win that you get in a Helo rush, you might enjoy it. You're like, oh yeah, I'm so dirty, so bad. But then it's just like, eh. And bam, we lose our command over here in Bravo. And if we didn't lose it to that, we would have lost it to the bombers. I was stupid with this VHOR. Should have just kept on backing it up, but it is gone. I'm going to keep on trying to fight over here, but this is more of a delaying action at this point. There's no way that we're going to be able to get another CV into Bravo. And I think I am going to hold on to hope that we can get it for a little bit. No, I'm not, because I'm going to buy a CV for Foxtrot, and then I'm going to reinforce out of that. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember what happened. Branchy killed a couple of Leos, so they definitely made up their value, and now they're going to do a little bit of town fighting, but I don't see it going too well for them. Over here on the right side, he managed to get a whole bunch of their units super hurt and almost dead. He just needs more infantry, and at this point he realizes that he can in fact spawn in more units, and he spawns in a whole wave all together. My recon over here gets spotted. They move their chappie. That was a good move on their part, getting it out of danger. The Delta Force probably could deal with this, but I think, yeah, they're gonna just get a Leopard, come over and wipe that stuff out. Catbeard has pretty much taken Golf. I would say some modicum of control of Golf, I should say. It's not really control, but, you know, he's gotten Bambi on the back foot here. Bambi, again, if he would have used these tanks, it would have been a whole different ball game. But he has reinforcements coming in. He's going to be able to hold it. He actually does a pretty good job. He was a newer player. I think he had like 200 games. Very low win rate. And I think his low win rate is mostly because he will not stick a game out. He's the kind of player that things don't go well for him, and he just lets the frustration build and build and build and build, and then he quits. So this game hasn't been going too well for him. He doesn't know, I don't think, that the enemy has almost nothing left. I think he believes that this whole area is pretty heavily occupied and that he's surrounded over here. So, oh yeah, I was told to get infantry, by the way, even though our Captain Price here wasn't really doing that. He does have some VDV 90 here, but he's going to squander the hell out of these guys. So the block 5s are going to get rid of their transport. Come on. Or no? Yeah, I think they do. The Scredgets get killed off. All right, there. And then these VDV are going to stand out in the open, panicked, and die. He could have regrouped with this group. He could have, you know, gotten into that building, anything. But no, he's just going to let them stand out in the open and just get slaughtered from all angles. But, I mean, at this point, Blue 4 is just throwing in so much infantry into this meat grinder. He was never going to really hold it anyways. There we go. Now they're in a building. But it's way too late. Back over on this side, Bambi has actually started to retake some territory. He's got one of these AMXs left in here, but, you know, he's got units coming up. He has a mortar now. I mean, he has a modicum of control. He just doesn't have any way to deal with this 2A4. Me, not really kind of... I don't know. I had an ambush set up over here. I wind up killing a couple of transports, but I don't pay attention to what's coming in the air. And these block 10s are going to wipe out this VHOR. He misses that shot. That could have made him actually worth it, but I think he does. Nope, he misses the last 2 shots and just gets absolutely destroyed. But one of the block 16 or block 10s gets killed. Savas are going to start running away because there's nothing between them and the enemy at this point. I'm going to get one good shot on the block 5 and miss the second. I did bring up these Helos to try and help the VDV in some way, but kind of knew that we weren't going to be keeping that. So at this point, I've taken Foxtrot, and I am just trying to get eyes. Just eyes like crazy. Oh yeah, this 28's very cheeky. The fact that it survives just rushing up the middle like this... Oh, my goodness. The other team wasn't that bad. I think they were like 50-60% win rates, and they had a decent number of games. I think this just threw them so far off. Anyways, here comes F104. Bam. Good use of points for there. That's actually a good trade point-wise for them. Losing a CV sucks, but, I mean, a +1 isn't that big of a deal, and that's something that they can replace. MI-28 is a pretty heavy loss for us, though. And immediately buys another CV. I'll come in from over here, I think. So at this point, the lucky thing that happened was that Blue 4 was trying so hard to get our infantry out of here that they don't have a whole lot in the way of vehicles. And we were able to kill off a good number of their vehicles, too. So it winds up being kind of a good thing for us. But now I'm just trying my hardest to try and fill in the gaps. I see a rush coming over here. I'm just going to spam these helicopters over here that survived the initial push. They're rearmed, refueled. But, I mean, these guys don't have anything really to deal with the Grenadiers. I'm just more or less sending them over here to try and slow them down for a little bit while I get other units in place. And these guys are actually coming over here, I believe. So on the right side, some of y'all might have seen the blue dot coming around. They do have a recon helicopter coming through, and this is where a very poor communication happens. I'm so focused over here that I am not paying any attention to the base, and I start getting AA, question mark, question mark, question mark, and I'm like, their AA, where's yours? Well, I have some AA, which is just the Savas from earlier, and they just shot down another 104. And that was another kind of benefit of doing this push, is it did bait their 104 into the Sava, which those 104s are the most valuable thing in the world, but if that's what he's primarily using for his anti-helicopter AA, getting them out of the game is important. I think he only gets 4, so 2 are dead now. Captain Price has helpfully called in a command unit to capture Delta, a zone that we have pretty much zero control over. If these Panzergrens had just started pushing, I think the game probably would have been over, especially with the Leos in support. Just an immediate counter push probably would have ended the game. Let me go ahead and go over to my view real quick. Notice how there's a distinct lack of any kind of friendly units over here. There's one BRDM, two BRDM, and a KA-29. Let's go ahead and look at Bambi. Oh, look at this. Bambi's side is only Bambi, pretty much. That's fine. This side should pretty much be one player, but Captain Price, where are your units, dude? You have no units. Like, at all. He's just bought planes and helicopters and squandered all of them. And so at this point, he's screaming at us to get AA, not telling us that this is going on at the base. He could have put up defensive markers, could have done all kinds of things to let us know that there's something going on back here. No, he just says AA, question mark, question mark, question mark. And yeah, and then he says not even able to get a heli. I don't know if he was referring to himself to buy a heli or not even able to get this heli. I'm not even sure. But here in a little bit, my CV will die and I'll go, so just say base, because that's all he had to say, and I would have understood what was going on. Anyways, back over to the left side, these grenadiers have continued to push up, but my infantry is arriving just in the nick of time. I kind of knew that I didn't see any tanks over here, and I was kind of betting on the fact that they wouldn't have any. So those autocannons could go to work, and I'll eventually realize that I have this 84 back here, but it takes my brain a very long time to recognize it. Yeah, he doesn't have any AA, but he does have some coming. And oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, it was on our side. So here comes the block 10 all the way around. Again, if I was paying any modicum of attention, we could have seen this coming. I didn't realize that it was coming after my CV though. And the realization hits me in 3, 2, 1, 0.5, 0. There we go. And at this point, I realize kind of what's going on. I kind of assumed that this would go back to base since it would be by far the fastest. And I'm fighting over here, so while I've acknowledged that this has happened, I really kind of want to just finish this fight here and get it over with. So now the fight's over for the most part, and I can kind of start realizing what's going on. He hasn't pulled his unit back, so I'm going to do mine and go ahead and bring it back. I'm going to use the O-tabs that I had back here to repair, just to see if I can figure out where their recon is. I never saw it. My map awareness is absolute garbage. I haven't really been playing, and it shows so bad this game. Like, I don't even realize that they're artillerying these proletary at all. They just get smacked pretty hard. O-tab finds helicopter, like, shoots it on the move, wipes it out. So at this point, I know I'm safe to go ahead and bring him all the way back in. Over here on the right side, Bambi, again, still doing a good job. He has actually pushed back on this zone and has a better, like, crossfire situation. Well, that 60, okay, I was going to say. So yes, things firing across. He's going to pull units up here in a little bit to actually kind of ward off this attack. But now he has a halfway decent defense. Wow, I didn't realize that he got this BRDM all the way back here and killed off an artillery. And I'm going to try and sneak a Cinque around, but it's going to get wiped in one shot here in a second. Not the most impressive. Goodbye. And here comes the block 5 and the 52 to wipe out anything in this forest. But I do think they lose one of their planes. Do they not? Oh my gosh, the HQ's just missed everything. Back over here, I somehow am maintaining a modicum of control. They just never did anything with these units. I think Gray was relatively new, and Catbeard was the more experienced of the two, and their Assault Strike was relatively experienced, but he quit pretty much immediately. So we're just able to kind of reinforce, or at least I am, kind of slowly over here. And it gets just pretty grindy now. Again, though, Captain Price still just buying aircraft, not really buying anything to help on the ground at all. He really doesn't even do that much with aircraft either. Buys another CV. We still don't really have fantastic control. Mind you, it is a whole lot better than what it just was. Anyways, Proletary immediately kill off a Leo 284. Hopefully they can get another one, but they're so panicked, I guess, that they just can't seem to get it. And unfortunately for me, Sava gets killed off, and this highway has zero scouting, control, anything going on with it. I've been so busy just trying to reinforce and hold on to this that this has been neglected. If you're going to play an airborne deck, which Captain Price was, especially a Russian airborne deck, might I suggest you know, doing something on the ground. You don't necessarily have to control a zone, but you can provide good infantry. You can provide a little bit of supporting fire in AA. You can provide good helicopters that can kind of roam back and forth. There are things that you can do with an airborne deck that aren't just heli rush. And it really kind of bugs me that this is all this guy did, is he just helo rushed. That's all he did. He helo rushed, and then he just spammed aircraft. And he didn't even do very well at it. Honestly, Bambi finally left. I don't know why he left early, if he just DC'd or if he got frustrated because there's stuff behind him here, and he just left. And with him leaving, then Captain Price just gets, screw it, I'm leaving too. So this leaves me alone against two players who are very ticked off and really want to come after me. So Grey Hub is pushing up with a whole bunch of tanks now. Luckily, my tanks have started arriving, my infantry started arriving. I just got a big boost in income, so I'm calling out two VHORs. These T-62Ds that Ramby called in were going to go across, but I'm redirecting them straight into here, and I'm going to push through Delta pretty hard and try and take good control here. Golf, I just kind of write off, honestly. He has a whole bunch of stuff here. I just kind of figure if anything ever comes over this way, I'll just use what's here to the best of my ability. And so I have all kinds of units, and the biggest thing that I kind of pick up part of the way through this game is they have invested very heavily in aircraft. I need to buy AA and keep my units on the move, and that is what I do for the rest of the match, pretty much. I will use the planes that I have available to me. I'll buy ATGM aircraft, which is the primary thing that I'll do whenever to get rid of enemy tanks. Especially whenever I'm way outnumbered like this. I mean, there's several Leos. These VHORs just showed up, thank God. And things are going relatively okay overall. That block completely whiffed its bombs. I got lucky there. Two more VHORs coming in. Was able to lock out their command vehicle right there. Olrad completely whiffs on the Gepard, which really sucks. But the 62s are here as a amazing little meat shield, and they will kill off this Gepard, I think. Do they not? I don't remember. But I am going to keep it kind of at ×2 because it is just a grind through here. That's all you're going to see. Commentary might even die off because it's just back and forth grinding. Lots of tanks, lots of infantry. I do keep on buying AA, trying to bolster that AA net as much as I can. Go ahead and turn on the autocannon of this recon unit, get some good crossfire in over here. In a second, I'll buy, yep, there they are. Some Plommons. Go ahead and wreck this forest right here. Come on, Plommons. Because I thought there's a whole bunch of units grouped up, and this is it. I mean, the Helo rush technically worked because it gave us enough control of the map, and we were able to hold on to it long enough. Oh, I forgot about this. Yeah, they managed to get an AMX 13 over here, and somehow it did not spot the command vehicle at all. But luckily these things have heat cannon, so I can just whoop, goodbye. A super glove was probably a little bit overkill, honestly, but whatever. Anyways, Leo 2A5 coming in. I do buy a VHOR A at some point. I don't know where it is, though. It might have already been killed off, or I might not have bought it yet. But I will buy a VHOR A at some point. But it really doesn't do a whole lot. Just having pure volume is always what I prefer with Yugos, because these guys are 20 points for their transports, and their transports are very good. I mean, they just keep it going. So Gray goes ahead and buys a whole bunch of units and sends in a massive wave since I'm making progress, which is a good call. This side, a push is finally coming. I have some units up here, and I do recognize now that don't have any good income coming in. So I do go ahead and use what I have and just push hard because I figure they don't have a whole lot here. My AA net is not quite strong enough. Their bombs miss, luckily. But JH7, bam, and then Q5, bam. There's still a lead over here, but that's the one thing about your team quitting, is you wind up with units to just throw away. That Super Glub just sitting in here, even though I knew there's automatics, was worth it, because if I can get rid of the A5 is the most dangerous thing that he has at the time. Wind up stunning my own units like an absolute pro. But my AA net has finally gotten strong enough where planes pretty much are in a no-go zone over here. It's just about keeping them supplied. Unfortunately, I have ran out of tanks on the front line, and so that's going to show whenever I lose this Neva right here. Goodbye. But the Vihor will come in and save the day. I think I lose this Neva too, actually. Do I? Yes, I do. I lose both of those Nevas. Which kind of sucks, but the Super Glub will come in and get a little bit of... Will it? Oh no, it's just going to get wrecked by the automatics. Goodbye! Bye, Super Glub. And bye, Super Glub too, because I wasn't paying attention. Goodbye. But at this point, I knew there's only 8 minutes left. Just hold on, do the best you can. I had brought in an extra CV to make sure I kept Foxtrot, but I just let it sit here for a while, which I really probably shouldn't have done. VR wins that fight. Automatics win against every plane that they see. Here comes the 91A V4 that will proceed to do nothing. But don't worry, I have Plommons, so this force right here will become de-Germanized relatively quick. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Yes, Helo rushes work, but people that do the Helo rushes, they seem to not actually be very good players most of the time. There are good players that will occasionally do a Helo rush, and I think that's different, but Captain Price has like a 60% win rate, but I don't think he's a good player. I think he Helo rushes a good chunk of the games that he plays. Mostly plays against newer players that don't know how to counter it, or that get frustrated and leave because of the Helo rush, and then wins. In this case, as soon as things started to look bad and one of our teammates left, he just went, no, not doing it, left. And it's like, come on, dude. This game, we had it. And they left, and they got a loss. But they didn't play well. Bambi, I think Bambi did a good job. Their ratio wasn't very good, but they, look, like less than 200 games, 24% win rate. Recon is actually decent, but like their stats aren't that good. They're just a newer player that I think gets noob stomped a lot, gets frustrated, and leaves. I mean, no time against the AI hardly at all. Captain Price looks like a newer player. 70% win rate, actually. And 10% helicopters. That's not insane, but I don't know. On this side, Salt Strike, he was the host. 32% win rate, a little bit newer player. Catbeard, 65%, good player. And 50%, okay, so I misquoted a little bit. Almost 355 and 500 games. I don't know. I feel like they had more experience overall. Well, I don't know. I guess I kind of balanced it out pretty well, actually. But I don't know. The whole Helo rush at the start of this game just kind of put a sour taste in my mouth. And I'm competitive and I want to win. So I kind of stuck through it. But honestly, guys, just, you know, Helo rushing isn't just like a win button. and it frustrates people. So I would encourage y'all to not Helo Rush. If you do, I mean, go for it, but you're gonna make people mad. And as you can see down here, I say JG and they say GG, nice Helo Rush. So the salt was definitely there. I did add Captain Price to my mute list, but anyways, that was one of my first games back to Wargame. I kind of took a hiatus from it for a little while. Didn't really play a whole lot over the past couple of weeks. Probably the past month, I really haven't played a whole lot. And this is like my 4th or 5th game that I've played since a multiplayer game that I've played in a month. And it was a win that I technically did pretty good at, pretty well. And I didn't enjoy it. Anyways, I am a dirty Helo Rusher, and you guys can all tell me that in the comments. You guys have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you later.